think we keep working really hard. Playing till the end. I think even today was a hard win, and that's what we need. We're a hard-working group. We can play 60 minutes, and I think we keep building our game, getting better every game. So, it was a deserved win, I think.
Yeah! Don't mess around and let them bees get hot. Too late. We're breaking it down 5 in a row, baby.
Like he said, 5 for the Bruins. How about the Patriots going for 7 in a row? I need more than 2 hands to do that. We got boots on the ground in Tampa. Scott Reynolds, PewterReport, going to join the show. And the Celtics back in action in Orlando for the NBA Cup.
It's a lot of hands, brother.
It's a lot of hands.
Boston has entered the chat. Starts right now. It's Friday. Go Bees!
Let's go, Bucca!
5. Oh! Come on! Yeah, baby! Boston has entered the chat. Come on!
We need those guys. Who are those dudes that go around on the? I was going to say roller skates.
No,
on the. God, help me out.
I want to help you.
Not the rollerblades, the single one.
I don't know.
Are they rollerblades? I was going to say roller skates. Rollerblades. Yeah, the rollerblades. The dudes that rollerblade on the jerseys. They have the, basically doing their best to look like the Hanson brothers with the long hair, carry the stick. Bring them. When we do these segments, we need them like circling the studio. Yeah. Moving around in here while we're talking to bees.
I get mistaken for them all the time. It's uncanny.
Look at you.
It's uncanny.
Look
Travis
at
Thomas,
I think Hanson
Adam
brother,
Kaufman, welcome inside our Salem Vibe studios. How about them bees? Can you call us? Can you please call us 617-790-0928? Get in here. We have got to talk about your hockey team that is so hot right now. 5 in a row, 3-2 overtime win.
So hot right now.
So hot right now. 3-2 overtime win. 5 seconds left. NOT, Zaka, boom, game over. Thanks, good night. Revenge game, because the last time we saw the Sens, they put a touchdown up on the Bees. Hey, we always talk about these words, right?
Right.
Grit, buy-in, yada, yada, yada. They have it all, Adam.
This is just your perfect case of things are breaking the right way. And I don't say that in any way to remove credit from what's going on, because the Bruins deserve all the credit for what they're doing. Like you said, buy-in. We'll hear from the coach, Marco Sturm, in a little bit as well. But just talking about slow start to the year, not initially. You win 3 straight games, but then you lose 6 in a row. And Sturm was openly questioning, I don't know what it is. Like at the beginning, we were doing what I wanted them to do, and they've kind of just decided to stop doing that. I'm not sure why. And he has acknowledged now during this winning streak, okay, they've started to listen and understood that, goals will come every once in a while, and we're certainly capable. Look at us. We got 2 prolific goal scorers the way they're playing right now in David Pastrnak and obviously Morgan Geekie, who at this point is tied for second in the NHL in goals scored with 10 already. But defensively and in the net, that needs to be your identity at this point in time. And it was not unexpected, but at the same time, I like the change that was made yesterday where you've got Korpisalo wins 2 straight, and he's looking awesome. And then it's like, he's not our number 1. This is still a split, if you will. We timeshare this thing, and we're going to go back to our guy who's paid as the number 1, Jeremy Swayman, and he wins the next 2, and he's playing great. And Sturm could have said, you know what? He's our number 1. He's looked great over these last couple of starts. He seems to have righted the ship, and he got that touchdown put up against him last time. Let's give him this opportunity to bounce back. And instead went, no, they're familiar. Like they've reviewed the tape. Maybe it was a bad matchup for him. Maybe it was a bad day. Who knows? But let's go back to the other hot hand. And Korpisalo, after a couple of days off, stayed just as hot. It was excellent in this game, obviously. And so, you go there just over the course of this game. You allow the first goal. Didn't phase him. In the first 3 shots of the game, Korpisalo hadn't even gotten into a rhythm yet. You score the next couple, you take a lead, you allow the tying goal with 8-9 minutes left in regulation, go to overtime, and it's a gritty overtime, even a couple of brief power plays in there. And the Bruins, like you said, final 5-6 seconds left. They find a way. They get that goal. They avoid the shootout. They're perfect 4-0 in extra time this year, and they get that 5th straight win. And this is a team now, Travis, that is sitting tied for second in the Atlantic Division.
That's crazy.
You know, I know it's only 16 games into the year, but nobody, I promise you, not Don Sweeney or Cam Neely had this team tied for second in the Atlantic 16 games into the year.
Buy in, brother. Hey, listen, this team's so hot. They have the internet going nuts. We'll get to some tweets. They have our voicemails jumping, 617-790-0928. Get in here. It's a Bruins party. Let's go to Scotty in Malden, who wants to talk about his ice-hot hockey team.
Hey guys, this is Scotty in Malden. I love the show. It's the only show that's like the voice of the fan. I love it. And I'm going to make my voice heard right now. All you Bruins fans who were cluttering my timeline with fire this guy, fire that guy, Bruins stink, Bruins can't do this, you're all out. There's no room on the bandwagon now. You're all out. This is what I'm talking about right here. Great effort. Ignore the noise. They're all buying into Marco Sturm, and they're playing great and showing effort. This is a fun team to watch. And all you guys, if you have any complaints at all about this team, then you're a loser.
I love how you put the emphasis on the syllable there. Ryan Hall tweets, man, is this team gritty. Love this. Beep. It's a family show. What a win. You ain't lying, Ryan Hall. You ain't never lie. RJ tweets, can't lie. Kind of love the grit they're showing. Every game is an absolute roller coaster. You got to love it. I mean, look, I bet on this game yesterday. You remember I was saying revenge.
Yeah. What was that money line price?
Well,
dogs, obviously.
Plus money, baby. I love me some plus money. Now, going back to the first game with the Sens, that game just got away from the Bruins.
Sure.
Let's call it what it is. I mean, they put a touchdown on them.
Those games happen to every team, good or bad.
And I gave credit the next day to Marco Sturm for actually leaving Jeremy Swayman in there and just like, hey, figure it out, bro. You know. But this game, I felt like the Bruins made the Senators play their style. It didn't get away from them. Right. It was low scoring. Yep. It was defensive. It was adjustment. So, I look, as long as they can play this style, I don't know, in 2025, about to be 2026, if this is sustainable. I certainly don't think it's going to win a Stanley Cup. This feels very old school to me. However, they said out of their mouths before the season started, tough out, piss and vinegar, buy in.
Hard to play against these things.
They are a bloody nose.
Yeah.
They're a bloody nose. And this team has it going on right now, Adam.
Well, and at the moment, again, you could talk about the goal scoring, and they have during this winning streak averaged 3.5 goals per game, but it's about the goaltending, it's about the defense only allowing about 2 goals per, and we don't talk enough about it, special teams. The power play during this winning streak right now is at 25%. The penalty kill is at 94%. This team, whether up a man, down a man, just finding a way to, again, bury you with that man advantage goal or shut you down when shorthanded. I know it's not like Marshy's still around getting all those shorthanded goals, but this team is still, again, I keep using the phrase, finding a way. It's just, like you said, I think it was a good way to put it. They're making you play Bruins hockey.
Yes.
And to have both these goalies, not just one, obviously, because they've kind of alternated here to start off this year, but to have both of them now heating up at the right time, both of them riding individual winning streaks, there's a confidence. You know, there's Casey, when she's been in with us, has talked about how, you know, sometimes it feels like maybe they're the guys, the defensemen, the guys in front of them are just, for whatever reason, they're a little more comfortable with Korpisalo and net.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing comfort across the board for everybody. Right. Korpisalo's clicking, Swayman's clicking, and obviously that top line for the Bruins is clicking.
Kind of reminds me of Swayman and Olmark. I felt so bad last night cheering
Olmark
against every time. Yeah, every time a goal.
Winner around
like, sorry,
here,
bro. I love you, but you got to catch this
You're
else.
the enemy now.
That's right. 617-790-0928. Call us, Alan. Family to the program. He lives in Arizona, but we all know he's from Lawrence. He called us. He wants to talk about his hockey team. Take a listen.
Hey, good morning, guys. Alan from Lawrence, now in Arizona. So, Bruins, they are confounding. It is fantastic that we are winners of 5 in a row. And that play last night, the winner in overtime, Charlie McAvoy basically recycled that play twice. They did it the first time. The player fell down, doesn't go into the net. He recycles that play again, and then they score. It was so exciting. They lead the league in goals scored, I believe still, but at the very least they're second. Baby Z is finally using the size that we thought he would use last season when we signed him. I'm a little confused. Like, is it because he's healthy? Is this the system? What we thought the Bruins were not going to be able to do was score goals. At least I believed that was going to be where they struggle, and they don't. I don't even know what box to put these guys in, but I'm very excited about it. I'm also excited about the Patriots. This is a huge test. I think they are going to pass it. Yesterday's game was garbage, unwatchable. I can't believe what we lost to the Raiders, and I have no fear of the Broncos if we play them. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you.
More Patriots coming up later in the program. Let's keep it to the bees
I thought
here.
Alan was about to start to give us his thoughts on Lucas Giolito.
I know.
You got the Celtics pick for tonight against the Magic.
We love you, Alan.
Keep it
we love
going.
you. We
Call
love
anytime.
you. Let's keep it with the bees, though. I mean, McAvoy deserves a lot of credit.
Well, it's to react to something Alan said there off the top. So I'm watching this game last night with my 13-year-old, and this thing, it goes to overtime, and I start screaming at the TV because I'm just watching them cycling around the perimeter and taking it back behind the net. And it's, they're at the dot. They're at the, top of the slot. They're just moving, but not taking any shots. No shots. And it's just, again, pass, even occasionally passing all the way back to Korpisalo, the goalie, just to kind of reset the play and, again, kill some clock in the process because, again, they're thinking kind of worst case, let's get ourselves to a shootout. Let's not get beaten in overtime. But it felt like, and I feel this way a lot of the time on the power play, as well, just in a general sense, not specific to this winning streak, but it's like there's an element of getting too cute as opposed to let's just make a dirty goal happen, right? Just fire it onto the net if you can find that lane. And I guess, to McAvoy's credit, he was aware enough to know, and he's an offensive-minded defenseman. We know that. He's aware enough to know, I don't have a lane. Like, they're clogging this thing up. They're staying in front of me. Even if I can get a pass off, they're quickly converging upon this guy. He can't get the shot off. And so he finally, to Alan's point, back behind the net again. Let's try this again.
Reset it.
Pound that opening.
Yep.
And then put the shot on net, and then not enough credit, obviously, just in this conversation to Pavel Zacha for being in the right place at the right time, finding his way backdoor to just, chip home that rebound that Allmark clearly couldn't see. I mean, had it lost kind of, off to the left of him, and I don't know, like, it's obviously didn't get him 5-hole. He went up like under the elbow, but was able to just sort of poke it up ahead and get that thing, not worried about the clock. Again, 6 seconds to go.
Yep.
It was just one of those perfect instances that I mentioned this earlier. It feels like these are the things that happen when things are going right for you. And that's, it was, again, an ideal ending, obviously, to what was a very tough game on paper and in reality.
I thought two things while you just gave me that beautiful monologue.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Number one,
I'm known for my monologues.
When it's done right, hockey is art. And we all know it. When it's done right. The Bruins are doing it right. The second thing I thought was, that's fundamental hockey.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're giving credit to players here. You got to give credit to the head coach, too. Marco, let's hear from him after this game. He deserves so much credit. I love this guy. Marco, I love you. Let's hear from you.
We played well. I mean, if you look at the first 40 minutes, we didn't give him much. We probably went all out the first 40 minutes. I got a little bit tired on the end there, but we were a guy short, so I'm very proud of my guys.
Let's finish with the overtime. You start with Kaslik taking the draw to get possession and then make an immediate line change. Love that. Possession's key in overtime. You also threw the puck back because of the long change. You throw it back to your goaltender to maintain possession and get fresh bodies out there. Is that all designed as part of the plan in OT?
Not really. It didn't came from me. Let's put it that way. But the guys, I would say the smart players know what's going on. They know where they at in that shift, and there's a bunch of times the guys are very, very tired and they don't have any openings, so they throw it back to the goalie, what is actually a smart play.
And a dominant finishing shift by Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, it was big. We had a good chance, even the one right before. Charlie passed it over to Pav. He just missed it. And then, but luckily we finished there on the end. Did we play the way we wanted early on, probably not, but I think everyone gets it now. Everyone knows me now, knows what I want out of them. Everyone is accepting the role. Everyone does their job, so I can go on, and and that's that's the way we have to play. And I'm very happy structure-wise how we approach every game now.
Guys, would you look at this? Ty Anderson tweets this. Our guy, Trevor, what's up, Trevor? Told me this morning when I walked in. I couldn't even believe it. Since November of last year, Pasta and Geekie both are in the top 3 goal scorers in the league, bruh. That's not a 1-2 punch. That's a dynamic duo, no doubt about it. Byron bits his burner. Morgan Geekie has been one of the most prolific scorers in the league for basically 82 games now. He's about 2 months away from leaving the chat of any potential fluke conversations. I'm not going to lie, brother. I think it's already there. I mean, maybe I'm a homer and I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I don't see any fluke, nothing next to his name. Now, I do remember us having a ton of conversations in the offseason about Geekie. Is it sustainable? He got paid. Can he do it again? Was it a fluke? We did use that word in the offseason. But the way my man's playing now, he has left that chat.
Well, we went into the year, I don't even think it was so much the 33 goals that he scored last year, because I think people said, okay, if he's a top liner, there's opportunities playing with Pastrnak. He could still score 25, 30 goals. Sure. It was the efficiency with which he did it. Everybody, including me, sitting here going, he's not going to shoot 22% again. That's absurd. Right. Well, you know what he's doing this year? In 16 games, he has 10 goals, which is tied for second in the NHL, one behind Sidney Crosby. He's decent. Wow. 28% is what he's converting on now. 28% of his shot attempts this year. You want to talk about efficiency and making the most of opportunity.
He's better this year so far.
Without question, he's absolutely been better. And I think if you just go back, and he's still a relatively young guy. Yeah. You know, he's 27. He's kind of still in those prime years, obviously, in his hockey career, assuming that hopefully he can stay healthy. But you look back at the beginning, and it just wasn't his role early on. Carolina, Seattle. Comes to Boston, gets an opportunity to actually be a top 6 guy and be someone who's looked upon to score goals. And to the point, I mean, maybe on a national level, it's still viewed as a little fluky. Not locally. I mean, again, 17 goals in his first year, 33, now the 10. He's so far from done at this point in time. This dude is, you know, I wonder at what point we are having a real conversation nationally, not just here, about Morgan Geekie being a guy that is okay. This is a 30 to 40 goal scorer annually. You know, obviously he has to do it again this year to go with what he did last year. Sure. And he's got to probably do it again next year. Yeah. But at that point in time, I mean, the whole narrative on what Morgan Geekie is as a player has to change. Because this has been, again, we saw the graphic going back to November 2024. Of last year.
Brother, we could be having that conversation, or I should say they could be having that conversation nationally by Monday. Because think about the weekend. I mean, they're in the 6, taking on the Maple Leafs. That team's hot right now. They won 3 in a row. So it's always a big matchup, obviously, with these two. Rivalry. But now, this weekend, even more eyes will be on this rivalry, the way the Bees are playing, right? So I think Geekie has another opportunity this weekend. He scores again. We know he scored last night in the second period. But if he scores again this weekend, I think by Monday, the national pundits and geniuses out there should be talking about this guy. But we've been all over him. Here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. In fact, when we come back, what's trending in the world of sports? Spoiler alert, more Bruins as we honor Big Z, baby. Get in here. It's a Bruins party. 617-790-0928. Boston Has Entered the Chat. We're just getting started. One-timer. Time now for what's trending in the world of sports. I'm usually so excited to give you these stories, but I don't like this one. Lucas Giolito is a free agent after the Sox decide against the qualifying offer. Here's Jeff Passan's tweet. You can only read with trifocals, but clearly I can see enough to see that Lucas's name is not on the list. And I am crushed, Adam. Are you? I am. And check out this tweet. This will make me feel better, Moose. Moose tweets, Scooble, Yes, I'm with you. But that has nothing to do with Giolito as far as I'm concerned. I understand the Red Sox angle from this. I do get it. And I think they did right by Giolito. I know you feel that way because now he's a free agent. He can go do whatever. But the experience between the two feels incomplete. It feels like unfinished business. I want him to come back, be healthy, finish the season.
Yeah.
Boy, could they have used him against the Yankees in that series, right? I mean, you
Could
probably
use any
win.
viable starter
Touche.
in that
We don't
game
need to go
three.
there. We don't need to go
Bullpen
there.
game in
But
the
just
playoff
Giolito
game.
himself, you likely win that series. So it just feels incomplete. I thought he had a really good season, and I hate that he couldn't finish. And it just feels like unfinished business, incomplete sentence. But it's over because he's a free agent. He's going to go get buku bucks from somebody.
I agree that it was kind of incomplete's a good word for it. It was a weird tenure for Lucas Giolito as a Red Sox because again going back to 2024, the elbow surgery, he doesn't play, doesn't pitch at all. You go to 2025, misses the start to the year with an injury, finally returns, gets off to a little bit of a slow start, and then he's lights out number one quality or at least number two quality pitcher from June on for 3 months. And then, like you said, when you really need him against the Yankees there in what effectively is a play-in tournament, he is unavailable because of, again, elbow. And they give him $1.5 million in the buyout. The mutual team option is declined, would have been for about $19 million. So instead, you have an option to give him a qualifying offer for $22 million. They don't do it. They did do right by him.
They did.
In that, now his market expands. And there are reports out there that, he could receive 2 to 3 years, 15 to 20 million per. It doesn't mean, by the way, that he's not going to be back in Boston. I don't think that door is closed. I do think it's unlikely. I think it's closed, though. But why it expands the market for anyone that doesn't know is by not offering him that qualifying deal is because now teams don't have to give up draft pick compensation to sign him. And so
it's closed. Because he's not going to take less to
more
come
than
back.
likely he's going to be elsewhere. But the thing is, just real quick, in terms of middle to back end pitching, you didn't really need Lucas Giolito. You have Brian Bayo, Connolly Early, Peyton Tolley, Cutter Crawford, Patrick Sandoval, Kyle Harrison, Richard Fitz, Cooper Criswell.
You need
to
a
the
two.
tweeter's point, you need a Screwball.
You need a two.
You need a Joe Ryan or some free agents. Dylan Cease, Michael King, Framber Valdez, Ranger
A
Suarez.
true two.
You need a legitimate number two or a 1A, 1B if we're talking about Screwball, obviously.
I would agree.
But yeah, Giolito, miss you, dude. It was fun, but made sense to let him go.
No doubt. Hey, we talked about Bruins, Maple Leafs this weekend. There's more happening this weekend.
Oh.
Zdeno Chara, maybe you heard of him?
Gonna be hanging out in Toronto?
He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, Big Z. Shout outs to you.
You say it like you're surprised.
I'm not, of course. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a walking, tall Hall of Famer. In fact, here's his
Skyscraper,
former
this dude.
teammates showing love. First impressions, the impact he's made on them. Take a listen.
My first impression of Z was definitely big, tall, intimidating person. I was a young guy coming in. I was afraid to say hi to him, but my idea of him proved to be wrong. He was a very nice man, a very great hockey player.
Well, first of all, is how imposing he was, with his stature, physicality, and all that. I mean, I remember playing against him and how hard it was to play against. I was just happy to have him on my side, and obviously over the years to learn from him and for him to take me under his wing. So it was a pleasure to play alongside him. And but my first impression was more like what a giant of a man, and I was happy to have him on my side.
First impression of Big Z was how large he was out on the ice, skating out there and seeing him, and then how quick he was in a game and how hard he could shoot, of course, was obvious, but he was on top of you pretty quickly as a goaltender down the wing, or if you decided to rush the puck or in the offensive zone. So just a monster of a man and an ultimate competitor.
Adam, I'm so curious of your take because, when me growing up outside of here, I'm too young. I didn't see or Esposito play. But my generation was a Big Z, Bork, Bergeron. I mean, obviously Marchand and Pasta now, right? So it feels personal. Like, even though it's like I watched his whole career, so I feel a certain connectivity to him. What an absolute legend.
Well, and Chara's not going to be the last, right? Like Patrice Bergeron's a Hall of Famer,
course.
obviously.
Marchand.
And Marchand, when he retires and after that waiting period, is a Hall of Famer. You know, I don't know if Rask potentially is a Hall of Famer. You know, there's certainly, I know there was just the one championship back in 2011, which of course Zdeno Chara captained that team. And when he came to Boston, you know, it wasn't just immediately being given the captaincy. It was changing the culture. And, you know, this was a team that was sort of perennially in the playoffs, but didn't go on runs. Everything evolved, and it wasn't just Chara, but Chara was a gigantic part of it in terms of leading by example, and he did it in multiple places. This guy played for a quarter of a century, a 7-time All-Star, won the Norris Trophy as the league's best defenseman, did so many different things, obviously, during his time in Boston, and continues to, not just in the community and running marathons when he's born. He's an ambassador of the organization, and that 33 is going up in the rafters this season. So, hell of a year for Big Z.
No doubt. Hey, Drake versus Baker, heavyweight bout on Sunday. We'll preview it next, right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.
Thriller? Back here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Mike Sullivan on Twitter. If the Patriots don't turn the ball over Sunday, they'll beat the Bucs. To me, it's that simple. Bucs offense isn't running on all cylinders. All those injuries, we'll get into that. Their defense is good, but it's not as good as the two you just played. Of course, the Browns, the Falcons. If the Pats don't beat themselves, they win. Simple as that. Let's find out if Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report, who has covered the Bucs for 30 years, feels that same way. Scott, welcome to the program, and I'm just going to start with this. The odds makers, if we look at Vegas, the Patriots, who have won 6 straight games, now on the road, are actually underdogs, 2.5-point dogs in this game in Tampa, a Bucs team that is riddled with injuries, especially offensively, but rested, coming off the bye. Is the right team favored here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, typically Vegas is going to give you, 3 points, right, if you're at home. So I think this is within that. And if this game was in New England, I would expect the Patriots probably, 2.5 that way, right? Maybe 3.5. So I think that's fair. This is a 6-2 Buccaneer team whose only 2 losses this year have come against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, who are quite good again this year. And then the Detroit Lions up on Monday Night Football, coming off, bit of an ass kicking at the hands of the Chiefs on Sunday night. So they were coming out, they were looking for blood against the Buccaneers, and they got it. So Tampa Bay also beat the Lions up in Detroit in Week 2 in 2024. So a bit of a revenge game. So you look at Tampa Bay's schedule; they've had some close wins, but they've also only had 2 losses to 2 of the best teams in the NFC so far.
Scott, these are 2 alpha quarterbacks in different ways. Stay with me. So you know this better than anyone. I mean, Baker's a dude. Like, he's the bad boy. He's the I got us, we believe in him kind of guy, right? Drake is more of a leader by example. He's young, so I still think he's kind of finding his way in terms of being a verbal leader. And I'm not even really sure if that's who he is. Kind of seems choir boy to me, to be honest, but he's a killer on that field. I'll give him that. I am hoping for that. I'm hoping for a Drake against Baker showdown on Sunday. Defense be damned. Just take the Sunday off. I want to see these 2 go at it. And one thing I'm looking for, Scott, I want to see if Drake has a little bit of piss and vinegar in him like Baker does, because I know Baker's going to be trash talking. Do you see the game going the way I want it to, or is this going to be like a low scoring, whichever quarterback doesn't make mistakes wins kind of thing?
It could go either way, and I hate to ride the fence on this, but I mean, there is some merit to what you're saying in terms of this being a shootout, because if both quarterbacks play up to their abilities, and maybe the offenses are better than the defenses that day, and they're not turning the ball over, right? We saw this in Tampa when the Buccaneers went up to Seattle and won a shootout, 38-35. It's a tough Seattle team this year, especially at home, and Sam Darnold had 4 touchdowns in that game, threw for well over 300 yards, but it came down to his 4th quarter interception. That was the difference in that game, because it allowed the Bucs to kick a field goal to win at 38-35. And that was a day where the defenses be damned, right? Especially in the second half. Tampa Bay's defense could not stop Sam Darnold, who was on an absolute heater, and Baker Mayfield didn't turn the ball over. That ultimately proved to be the difference in the game. So the Bucs have already had one of those games this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but Tampa Bay's defense is playing exceptionally well. And when you look at the Patriots' run defense, best in the league, Tampa Bay has had a lopsided game in terms of Baker throwing too much, not running the ball enough, and that was that loss in Detroit, 24-9, the worst loss of the year. They threw the ball 50 times, only ran it 11, and the Patriots defense, if the run defense can show up as advertised on Sunday and make life tough for a team that doesn't have Bucky Irving, it's going to be Rachaad White and Sean Tucker again. It may force the Buccaneers' hand to throw the ball a little too much, and that's not the recipe for success. Tampa Bay's better when they're balanced on offense.
Okay, look, you brought up that Seattle game. Let's stay here for a second. Mm-hmm. My preseason prediction for the Super Bowl was Packers-Ravens. Okay, so technically I'm still alive there.
Sure you are.
But now that we're into this thing and I've had some weeks to watch it, I have trust issues with the Packers. Okay, we don't even need to go there.
Right.
I would say there's probably 3 teams I would believe in to beat the Eagles when it counts. Your Buccaneers, because I trust Baker and Bowles.
Yeah.
Seahawks. I mean, what they did at the deadline, Scott, and the way Darnold's playing, that looks like a real team. And I would say Rams because of McVay and Stafford always, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it sounds like you agree with that because that's where I'm going here. Is this what's sort of your handful of teams, and are your Bucs in there in terms of Super Bowl, or good enough for the Super Bowl to win the NFC?
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Okay.
Those teams, I think, are going to be there at the end in the playoffs. It's just going to be a matter of seeding, right? And the Buccaneers play the Rams in a couple weeks. This is a really tough stretch for Tampa Bay coming out of the bye. You looked at this game when the schedule came out, and you're like, all right, well, you come out of the bye, you get the Patriots, Nobody, not even you guys, thought 7-2 for this Patriots team, right? So they are, to me, this year's Commanders from last year, right?
Okay.
Veteran head coach comes in, makes the instant impact. We'll call Drake May a rookie quarterback because he's really getting kind of a restart for that rookie year this year with Josh McDaniels. Jaden Daniels was Drake May last year, right?
That's right.
And the Commanders were the it team. They took the league by storm, and they ended up beating the Buccaneers in the first round of the playoffs here in Tampa. So this Patriots team right now, they're young, and I've seen this a couple times in Tampa Bay in my 30 years of covering this team. When a young team is just on a roll, like they don't know how bad they are. And what I mean by that is they don't see their warts and flaws. They just think, man, we're this good. We're 7-2. And confidence is a dangerous thing for a young football team because you can get on a roll and just that belief that Mike Vrabel has instilled in this team can win you games, right? You just think we're not going to lose. And at the end of the day, what happens? You don't lose. You win 6 in a row. So credit to Mike Vrabel for really doing a hell of a job this year. But this is a game that is harder than expected. And Todd Bowles did a really good job this week in the locker room telling these guys on Monday when they came back from the bye week, look at what happened to the Lions. They took the Minnesota Vikings a little lightly. They were a little too rusty coming out of the bye, and they lost. Don't be the Lions this week. So that message just hit home. Then next week you've got a game up at Buffalo against Josh Allen. That's going to be fun, right? Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield head-to-head. And then you mentioned the Rams. The Buccaneers will go to L.A. and play Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Sean McVay's always given Todd Bowles fits, and that's going to be on Sunday Night Football. So this is the beginning of a 3-game stretch for the Buccaneers that will determine, is this a 12-win Buccaneer team, or is this more like a 10-win Buccaneer team? And, of course, that's going to matter when it comes to the NFC playoff seedings.
Scott, I was going to say, who hates the Buccaneers, schedule maker in the NFL? But after this 3-game hellacious stretch you're talking about, boy, it gets softer. Cardinals, Saints, Falcons. I mean, we'll see with the Panthers. I think they're Fugazi, Dolphins. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. This 3-game stretch is going to tell us everything we need to know. Go ahead, Adam.
So, look, as good as this offense is capable of being for Tampa, and we all know, I mean, you guys have talked about it, how good Baker Mayfield is. Now, his weapons are a little depleted. There's no Mike Evans. There's no Chris Godwin.
Right.
Obviously, Emeka Egbuka is a dude. And Baker, to me, like the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, that guy was the MVP of the league. So he's done some things, especially with these late-game heroics. As far as the run game, I really don't worry. Like you said, no Bucky Irving. I don't worry about Rachaad White as a rusher in this Patriots defense. A record to start the year of 9 straight games holding rushers under 50 yards, single rushers, obviously. So for me, it comes to the other side of the ball in Baker Mayfield and that Bucs defense, because Todd Bowles brings a lot of pressure. May has been sacked now 12 times over the last 2 games. You know, historically, Tampa's pretty good against mobile quarterbacks, so that doesn't necessarily play into New England's strengths. And what are you expecting defense for Tampa, offense for New England here in this one?
Todd Bowles' defense has really been on a heater, right? They're +7 as a team in turnover margin. Last year at this point in time, they were -6, and they finished -6 last year. They were the only team in the playoffs that had a minus in front of that turnover differential, right? So right now they're 4th best in the league, +7. The defense has been taking the ball away exceptionally well. 4 takeaways in their last game against the Saints. Maybe that's not hard to do, but still, they've been averaging 2 takeaways per game, and they didn't even have a takeaway in either of the first 2 games. So this has really kind of been a Johnny-come-lately kind of thing with taking the ball away on defense. And you mentioned the sacks. Drake May is the 2nd most sacked quarterback in the league right now. And this defense has got 25 sacks on the year, 15 in the last 3 weeks. So they're averaging 5 sacks a game. The Patriots giving up 3.8 per game. So I would expect a lot of pressure. And Todd Bowles, he'll bring pressure on 3rd down. But you know what he brings to pressure? 1st down. He will blitz on 1st down because it's going to be one of 2 things. Either the Patriots are going to try to establish the run on 1st down, and they're going to be running into an extra man in the box, whether it's Tyke Smith or Antoine Winfield Jr., Servassier Dennis, Levante David. He's going to bring an extra guy on 1st down to help negate what the Patriots want to do on 1st down. If they're going to throw the ball, then great. Then there's an extra blitzer going at the quarterback. They want to win 1st down so they can get you in 3rd and long. I think this whole game is going to come down to Drake May's ability to elude the blitz. And what I mean by that is can Drake May find that open running lane, right? Can the Buccaneers have enough pass rush discipline to fill all those lanes and trap him in the pocket? If they can do that successfully, the Buccaneers will win. Where Drake May will hurt and maybe kill the Buccaneers is if they allow that escape lane. If one of those guys is not disciplined in that blitz package and they create, that hole up the middle, that Drake May is going to run 15, 20 yards and not just pick up a 1st down, but maybe get you from midfield into field goal range like that. That's where Drake May can really hurt you. We've seen that already this year.
Oh, my God, Scott, I could talk to you all day. I hope our producer gives us an extra 10 minutes here. Because, listen, I'll be honest, I think you nailed it. I can totally see the comparison to the Commanders last year with Jayden Daniels. In fact, let's go here. Let's take McCarthy, Penix, and Nix, put them in a box and throw them in the ocean somewhere for right now, because it is clear to me that it's Caleb, Drake, and Jayden Daniels just like it was in the draft. If you were redrafting now, Scott, I mean, would you go Caleb, Jayden, and Drake? No. Would you? Okay, give me
Drake
that.
Drake May to me was number 1 because
already.
I was last year in the draft, and the reason I say that is because this is still a pocket passer league, right? Say what you want about Patrick Mahomes, he still wins from the pocket, right? Tom Brady was the ultimate pocket passer, right? It was him and Joe Montana. Like, it was those
You didn't think he was fast?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, we saw a couple scrambles down here in Tampa. Even old man Tom picked up a 1st down or 2. But my point is you have to be mobile, right? You have to be that guy. And it's not that Jayden Daniels can't win from the pocket. But his build, and we've already seen him get injured, right? His build was always a concern in this league, and his frame had nothing to do with the dislocated elbow, right? That's just a freak injury. But the knee, those types of things. I thought Drake May was the ultimate quarterback in terms of he can win from the pocket, high football IQ, has that feel for the pocket. When is it breaking down? When can I hang on? When can I use my legs laterally behind the line of scrimmage to extend plays?
Right.
But then when do I need to look for that escape lane and go pick up a 1st down, move the chains, and keep the drive going? I thought that was really kind of an it factor quality for him coming out. So I had May, Daniels, and Williams, and I'm still not sold on Caleb Williams, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Both these teams have had their share of soft spots on the schedule, obviously. I think both will be taking this game very seriously, not just in the, hey, we want to win, but in kind of in a prove-it sense, right?
Oh,
I mean,
course.
this is the first
No doubt.
prove-it opportunity for New England since winning in Buffalo against
That's
Josh
right.
Allen, division rival, Super Bowl favorite, all of these things. So we'll leave you here with this one. You know, you've been around. You don't strike me as a homer. Who do you think wins this game?
Yeah.
Turnover margin is going to tell the tale, and that's not a cop-out answer, and I back that up with facts. The Buccaneers have lost the turnover battle twice this year, and they've lost the games. It's been that simple. They have lost at Detroit, and then they lost at home to Philadelphia. So to me, it's going to come down to that. The Buccaneers are 5-0 when they don't turn the ball over. They're 5-1 when they get a takeaway on defense. So that's been the key this year, has been that reversal of fortune in the turnover margin. They were -6 last year. Baker Mayfield led the league with 16 interceptions, tied with Kirk Cousins. He has cut down on that. He only has 2 interceptions this year. And this Bucs defense, again, they're taking away the ball. They have 7 interceptions this year. That's as many as they had all of last year in 18 games, including the playoff loss to the Commanders where they didn't get a takeaway at all. So they're already playing with house money when it comes to interceptions. There are 9 more games to go. They already have 7. That's how many they had last year. So if Tampa Bay can get that magic formula again, which was don't turn the ball over on offense, or if you do, make sure you get a +2 in the turnover margin. If you have that interception, you better get 3 on the defensive side to make up for it, because when it's +2, Tampa Bay wins.
Well, I am a homer, so Patriots money line for me, and I know that our guy Travis here is going to be hammering the over on 48.5. He's looking for points in this one. Scott Reynolds, Pewter Report. Great job over there over the last 3 decades, and
Appreciate
here on
it.
this
Thank you
show
very much.
this morning. Scott, thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you again down the line. Who knows? Maybe for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I was just thinking that maybe. What would Tom Brady think about that?
I don't know. He'd be rooting for the Raiders. That's
he
what
would.
Tom
No,
Brady
he would clone the game so he could watch it again. He'd clone the game.
Right. Yep.
We appreciate
you.
Thanks for hopping on, Scott. All right, we're going to step aside here on Boston Central Chat. When we come back, how about a little Celtics talk? This team righted the ship just a bit against Washington. Now a big test in Orlando. First of 2 in this one, the NBA Cup. Group play continues. We'll get into it when we return on Nesson. We are back on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Jaylen Brown back like he never left. Celtics Muse on Twitter. Brown's last 7 games, 35 points, 36 points, 12, who remembers? 32, 30, 15 in that blowout. He only played
You just glossed over the...
And 41 points only at 9 30-plus point games last
the
season.
12 and the 15 don't count.
5 already. I'll tell you what, over the last 7, I'll just do some math for you. He's averaging about 29 per game. He's shooting 54%. Are you kidding? Whole lot of Celtics says we're witnessing one of the best pure scorers in the league showcase what he can do as the consistent #1 guy and answering the call every game. So many of y'all need to apologize.
Who? A whole lot of Boston? Like, who said he stinks? Who said he can't lead a team? Who said he can't score?
Nobody said he
No one ever
stinks.
said that.
Nobody
What's
said
he
he
talking
stinks.
about?
There were people that questioned his ability to be a #1 on a good team, and that question, like the verdict is
that?
well, the verdict is still out because this isn't a good team.
Well,
but that's he's putting up #1 numbers right now, but needs to take this team up in the standings.
Okay,
obviously,
that's a different combo. That's not
it?
Yes.
Is it?
It's not an apology.
It is all related. Are you?
What
and
do you mean?
This is a bigger picture thing. We'll find out as the season moves along. But right now, the Celtics are sitting at what? 4 and 5, 10th place in the Eastern Conference.
That's leadership. That's not
So
the
he's
same
not a
thing.
leader?
He just said look at his scoring, look at the numbers. A lot of people need to apologize. No, they don't. No one ever questioned Jaylen Brown's ability. No one ever questioned if Jaylen Brown could be a #1 and lead you in scoring. Hell, I even suggested and put a bet out he's going to win the scoring title. That's not going to happen. But no one ever questioned that. The leadership thing is that's a whole different topic. You can't move the goalposts.
So you're saying he's not a leader?
I am saying that. I say that with my whole chest. I mean, do you need me to say it louder? For the people in the back?
Why is he not a leader?
Well, look, I think they won a championship, and he was the Finals MVP
and Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
in the Eastern Conference Finals MVP in the perfect position. He is the greatest, one of the greatest Robins of all time, because Scottie Pippen's entered the chat. I do not believe Jaylen Brown, you can build around, run a franchise around, he's the man and you win a championship. I think he and Tatum need each other. Because where Tatum is weak,
So
by the way.
Are you calling the numbers hollow?
I'm not calling anything. I'm answering your question. You said, do I think he's a leader? I'm giving you an answer.
Yeah, but if you're saying a guy is not a number one on a great team, and he's just sort of putting up, counting stats,
by the way,
you're kind of calling the numbers hollow.
Let me blow your mind even more then.
Please.
Go hot take. I feel the same way about Jason Tatum. I do not believe Jason Tatum wins a title without a Jaylen Brown and vice versa.
Well,
I think they are
the conventional wisdom today in the NBA is you need 3 guys.
Well, there we go.
Sure.
Now we've entered the chat. So my point is you don't owe an apology because no one ever thought Jaylen Brown couldn't be the man statistically and couldn't score and couldn't do all these things. We've seen him do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not believe he's someone that can lead you to a title, A. B, this team ain't good enough any damn way. So what difference does it make?
Well, let me tell you this.
No one thought they were going to win a championship.
Let me tell you this about what we just saw in that blowout of admittedly a bad Wizards team. It was, and we talked about this yesterday on Hold My Banner with Ante. I encourage you to check it out there
Great show.
on Nesson Nation. Thank you. We love it when you're on as well. It's available to you on the Nesson YouTube page. We had an awesome conversation about how that was the dictionary definition perfect Jaylen Brown game, all right? He goes for 35 points on 13 of 21 shooting, only 4 3-point attempts, 2 of 4. Dude lived in the mid-range. He went 7 of 9 from the free throw line. He's getting aggressive, going to the basket more. 5 assists, just 1 turnover, 5 rebounds. He was a plus player, obviously. They blew him out. Plus 11 in 26 minutes. Didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter because the game was so lopsided. And on top of that, we always talk first quarter, Jaylen, right? He had 16 points. The team could have been done after the first. They were still down 11 points at the end of the first quarter despite 16 points out of Jaylen. He was their offense. Let me give you a stat per Dick Light, Celtics statistician. Brown is the 5th player in NBA history with 35, 5, and 5 in 26 minutes or less. Only one guy has ever done it in 25, and that was, I think you've heard of him, Michael Jordan. So this was a Jaylen Brown game. You're not buying. I wish we could see you right now. You're just sitting here disgusted.
Can I ask you something?
With
you know
this
why?
conversation.
You know why?
Yeah.
Before you gave the numbers.
Yeah.
You just bury the lead. It was the Wizards. And then the night before, 2 nights before, he did it to the Jazz,
No,
too.
he
They
didn't.
suck,
He didn't
right?
do it to the Jazz.
Yes, he did. He had a great game against the Jazz. They just lost. What happened when they play the Rockets? What happened? Again, this is why I disagree with the tweeter, is we owe him an apology. No, we don't. We know he can score. We know. Can you lead? Can you lead? Can you take this team that is not what you once had? We all know it, and uplift them. Can you make these guys better? Can you overachieve? Can you get this team into the playoffs? I'm not saying he can't. We're going to watch it happen, but I'm betting against it, is what I'm telling you, just to be clear to everyone. And I love the Celtics. But at the end of the day, no one's questioning, in my opinion, no one's questioning the numbers. He did it against the Wizards and the Jazz, bro. It's 2 of the worst teams in the league. When we need you, when you're going against Ime, and he's out coaching your coach, what do? Now, that game was a blowout. He didn't play minutes. I get it. I hear you Celtics fans yelling at me. Well, what do you want him to do? They're down. They took him out. Fine. But that's my point. I need to see more moments like that he rises up and gives me a 40 burger and a win. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, what's he going to do tonight? Let's get to tonight.
I don't
the Celtics,
listen.
They are dogs, understandably, 3.5-point dogs in Orlando, a team that you are actually ahead of in the standings right now.
Right
because
now.
The Magic are off to a slow start. I know expectations obviously much higher for that team than they are
It's
the
a better
Celtics.
team.
Yeah, it is. But Paolo Banchero, who's awesome. But a lot of people expecting this coming out party this year.
MVP.
He's right. He's off to a little bit of a slow start. Franz Wagner, he's kind of been dealing with some injuries, but the stats are still fine. Desmond Bane has not been what they acquired him to be, given up multiple draft picks and all of that. Not that I think he won't turn the corner. Again, we're not 10 games into the season.
Sure.
Plenty of time, but he's frustrated. He's coming off the ejection in his last game.
They're underachieving.
They are. They're underachieving. They're sitting at 3-5, I think it is.
Yeah.
1-2 at home. It's it's a team that has a lot of size. They can crash the boards. Rebounding could be an issue here in this one. But this, I don't know if you care about this. I don't personally, but the players do. They're motivated. This is another NBA Cup game. group play.
Yeah.
You rolled your eyes.
I hate it.
Look, I don't hate it. I just don't care. But there's no argument that the NBA Cup games over the last couple of years have been more competitive.
For sure.
Because these guys are chasing that prize money. Exactly. That's what they're after.
Right.
So, you go out, you had a 1-point win in Philadelphia in your first game. Teams in their group, by the way, for anyone that actually does wonder about this at all, who are they? You have the Pistons, the Nets, again, Magic and Sixers, obviously. The Celtics going to go out and take care of business and improve to 2-0 in group play in the NBA Cup.
Yeah, listen, if I'm Paolo, this is the kind of game I'm just licking my chops because I look at the lack of interior size and rim protection and rebounding that this team possesses. And I'm saying my team's off to a slow start. I've been playing pretty good, but I got to rally my boys. This is the same conversation we just had about Jaylen Brown. If I was doing Magic has entered the chat, I would be making the same points. Like, Paolo, you're so great. No one's questioning your talent, just like I'm not questioning JB's.
Yeah.
Can you lead us? So this is the kind of night, if I'm Paolo, I'm going for 30-plus and 15 boards, and I'm getting the dub. It's as simple as that because there's no one on the other side that can stop me.
I don't know who wins tonight, but I do believe this. There are 2 in Orlando, tonight as well as Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think they split.
That's fair. I wouldn't be shocked, nor would you, if they don't, and they lose both. Would you be shocked?
Shocked? No.
Okay.
A little surprised. Not shocked.
Not me.
Not shocked.
Not me.
I'd be shocked if Boston won them both.
I would be shocked for that. We agree there.
That would shock me.
We agree there.
All right. Well, listen, we may be done on Nesson for right now, but we're not done at all. We're going to Nesson Nation. We come your way Monday to Friday, 8 to 9 on Nesson, 9 to 10 Nesson Nation. If you like what we just did, come on back. We're going to have a little bit more of that conversation. You know the Bruins? They're red hot. Red hot, Trav.